Hey guys, welcome back to Hightop Sports. I'm here with Justin Giagrande. We're going to be talking a lot of things here, a lot with the big commercial that DJ Lagway was just in with Gatorade. His agency was part of that. We're going to talk all about the day. It's fantastic stuff. Justin, welcome to the show. Happy to have you, man.
Thank you for having me, man. Super excited and excited to kind of dive in.
Absolutely, man. Let's talk all about it. So, the reason I reached out, obviously, the commercial dropped, and something on my show we've been talking for a couple of years now is when the NIL thing dropped. How does Florida get connected with Gatorade? That has been the storyline forever. And we've talked kind of before the show. You're a Gator alum, which we'll get into in just a little bit. But how does this happen? And now it finally has. And I was excited to know how did it all fold out. So kind of talk to us about that. How did this become a thing with DJ Lagway, yourself, and Gatorade finally making this commercial happen?
Yeah, I mean, it has, ultimately, for us, when we work with talent, we always try to build their brand and do things that have never been done. Um, you know, got the opportunity to advise DJ while he was still in high school and build a relationship with the family. And all jokes aside, he was already committed to Florida. One of the goals was like, man, what were the dream opportunities if we could ever partner with a brand? That would be one of those top tier brands that would be amazing. And so Gatorade, as you can imagine, was on the short list. They had done very limited things in NIL. They had done a couple things that were more influencer based, but they hadn't really sunk their teeth into something. And so I've represented 100 professional athletes. I've been in the space for a long time. I had a good relationship with Kyle Grote, who's over at Gatorade, and I would just keep him updated of DJ's before his even his high school season of just I thought he was going to be generational. Then he continued week after week to have break every record. That led into like him kind of living up to the hype. He ends up becoming the Gatorade National Player of the Year. Which you probably saw that online, but people don't know. But DJ's first day that after the Under Armour All American game, the next day we surprised him and drove up with his family. And Emmett Smith presented him, the Gatorade High School Player of the Year award in the stadium, which as a Gator was kind of surreal for me. That had been one of the first times that Emmett had really been back to University of Florida in a while. And so, we had a dinner after, got to sit with a lot of the executives from Gatorade, and it just felt really good. That was at Spurrier's. And then, I just kept on and kept saying, like, look, if there's an opportunity and something that would pop up for DJ, I mean, come on, biggest quarterback since Tim Tebow to go to Florida, NIL era. And luckily Kyle and them reached out a couple months ago and said, look, we're working on the biggest commercial we've done in 10 years. It's going to be one of the biggest things. There might be an opportunity for DJ to be a part of it, and he would get signed to Gatorade. And was super ecstatic. Myself and Derek Jackson had a conversation with the parents and basically said like, look, the exposure of this could be insane. We obviously started working on the framework of the deal, and everything happens for a reason. But one of the most stressful parts was, whether DJ could make it back for the shoot, because the shoot happened while practices were going on for spring football, and for the spring game was the following Thursday or Saturday. And so Gatorade only gave us a couple dates that he could really do it, because candidly, they were lining it up with Josh Allen and Jason Tatum. You know, uh, Long and the short of it, we spoke to the Florida football team. He was able to fly out here on a Sunday. The shoot was all day Monday. He flew back with his dad, red eye, back Monday night. Did an amazing job on set. Had to go to practice Tuesday morning, and it was just a cool moment personally for me as a Gator graduate who, Gators have been, if I didn't go to school at University of Florida, I don't think I am where I am now. But to be able to be a part of the kind of on the nose brand opportunity for them to be coming back to Florida to use what NIL is for good, for it to be DJ, who is, I mean, the kid deserves everything he gets. I mean, you're not going to find a more respectful, humble man. And I think that is also why I think Gatorade, believed in him and believes in his progression and where he's going to go. And so it's been special. It's been really fun personally for something that we've been working on for 4 months or even longer, for people to get to see the final product. I mean, for him to be in those caliber of people says a lot, because they're really betting on him to be the person that we think he's going to be.
And look, I think we as Gator fans, and the reason for the excitement, if you look at that commercial, it's the next generation of great talent. right? That's what that entire commercial was implying. And Florida, we've been itching to have that quarterback, that team, that Tim Tebow esque feeling back at Florida. We feel like we've got it with DJ Lagway in this commercial, and it's crazy to think that a commercial makes you feel that way, but it put it back into perspective that, like, yeah,
So let me tell you guys something. We got the commercial 2 weeks before it came out. Man, I called Mr. Lagway. I was emotional as hell. I said, first of all, I've been a part of your guys' life for 2.5 years. I'm emotional. I said, I cannot even fathom that actually being my child and bearing my name. Like, I can't fathom that, he's before Michael Jordan. It's one of the most proudest moments of my career is that. It's something that'll be forever. And it means a lot because it is Gators, like it brings this whole thing full
personal.
circle.
Yeah.
And I also, that's kind of what NIL is meant for. Like these brands to bet on the next generation. Um, so it's been awesome. People don't know this. I mean, I'm sure some people. DJ's middle name is Jordan, named after Michael Jordan. Just so we're
Oh,
clear, I don't know if people know that, but like he's Derek Jordan Lagway. That Jordan is for Jordan. So,
huge.
it's yeah,
Goosebumps.
yeah,
So you keep referring back to 2 years of working with DJ Lagway. We've had DJ on. I played Madden with him. This young man is phenomenal. And can just the few times that I've been able to speak to him, just his maturity level, he is far beyond his years. Like I'm sure you can attest to that. But I'm interested too in just the NIL process, how this relationship began, and again, you kind of saw. I'm imagining you saw this NIL and you saw the opportunity and what could be, and jumped on it. We was talking to you before the show a little bit about your past working with Gary Vaynerchuk and working with other athletes. Talk to us about that a little bit of your career and
sure.
what made you like. How did you see DJ Lagway like? Yeah, this is going to be the guy that we go after. And you have Julian Lewis and Malcolm. These are the creme de la creme of quarterbacks we're talking about right now. This isn't just, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
huge.
So, everything happens for a reason. When I left Vayner Sports in 2020, I had the opportunity to kind of get more into the entertainment and hip hop side. So, had the opportunity to work with, so my business partner Brian Scher, is long steeped in the film and TV side. Works with everyone from Ti to Quavo to Nicki Minaj, and we met actually at a Vayner Sports event, and basically he said, "Look, you're a beast at marketing and endorsements for athletes. Would you love to do this for some of my clients?" So I left. I started my own thing. I've always kind of been an entrepreneur, even back to my days in Gainesville. Fast forward, one of my clients was Juju Smith-Schuster. When I left Vayner Sports, that I was still going to focus on at the network advisory. He trained with Bryce Young in 2020. I got connected to Bryce and Craig Young in 2020, and they were like, "Look, NIL's coming. Like, what do you know?" And I became obsessed. I was 36 at the time, lived in California, and I love college sports. As you can imagine, I went to school during the best time ever, University of Florida, 4 national championships in 3 years was insane. Like 18 months of not lose. So the idea that college sports could be a business, and so I went deep in it. And so the rules changed July 1st of 2021. Started advising and getting to work with Bryce and Craig and just some of their marketing. They introduced me to Malachi Nelson, who at that time was a high school junior, #1 player in the nation. And his father, I'll never forget it. July 21st, 2021, I was in Vegas speaking at a convention. I did a Zoom with him and his father. He was about to commit to Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma. And his dad asked me, like, smartly, his dad, Eric, is so innovative and smart, said to me, like, "What's the deal with high school NIL?" And I said, "Eric, it's a great question. I have no clue, but I'm down to find out." And so I went to the CIF, which is the California High School Board. And between you and I, guys, I'm expecting them to say 5 years, 10 years, like, you guys are wild. We just did college. They called me back 45 minutes later and they announced it's legal. They sent me an email. And
Wow.
I call Eric and I'm like, "Eric, you're not going to believe this, but basically it's legal. So if we want to do something," and we were actually talking to CBS Sportsline about doing like a branded content play for his announcement. And so we ended up, not doing anything for that because even though it was said to be legal, it just felt like, damn, this is very nerve-wracking. But I ended up signing Malachi, and I've been on this NIL. So that started the high school piece of it. Me and you, he's the first high school player, I believe, that anyone's ever been signed because California was legal since 2021. As we know, the state of Florida's still not legal for high schoolers. And so I would just say, as you can imagine, having the number one high school player in the nation and managing him and handling his marketing, I just got more data. We did some really interesting endorsement deals with the H Group, who's a hospitality company here. And then, as just like anything in life, my background is marketing and endorsements at a high level. We represent and work with Mike Vick, handle all his marketing. And so I became obsessed. I was like, let's get this right. College sports, which is a huge economy, is about to be a big business. And so I got to understand what it's like working with an elite quarterback and having all these collectives and schools after him, actually doing real endorsement deals, which I pride ourselves on, that we made real money for our clients from real endorsement deals. And then that's kind of a word of mouth thing. We're not built to go high. We're not looking for 100 clients. We're looking to work with a couple elite athletes that are very marketable each year. And so when you have Malachi, I got connected. I actually have known TC Lewis, who's Julian Lewis's dad, since Julian was 10 years old. And Julian and TC were out here training with Jordan Palmer. And TC, I guess DJ had just committed to Florida, and he knew Mr. Lagway. He's like, man, this is 2022. He's like, man, who's got to be next? Got to be DJ. Like, you're a diehard Gator.
Wow.
You know how to handle elite quarterbacks. He introduced me to Mr. Lagway, and I flew down and met them on a random summer day before the season. I think we went to Papados in Houston, Texas on a random Tuesday and just chopped it up. And I mean, going back to, it's been a journey ever since. Let me say this: DJ deserves everything he gets. Gator Nation, you could not have a better person at the helm in the future. He's a hard worker. He's a leader. He's not scared. I know you're going to get fired up. Like, he's ready for the smoke. Like he's here to bring this team back. And I think through the recruiting process, so many people got nervous. Are they going to flip him?
Yeah.
His word was his word, and he wasn't scared about trying to lead the Gators back. And I think that says something about him, especially in this NIL journey. And what I'll say is, him getting this Gatorade commercial, there's like a piece of me that feels like it's hit the reward, a little bit of the reward for just being the person he is and being steadfast and not wavering in a world of like headlines and dollars.
Mm.
Guy was sold on, grew up watching Tim Tebow, committed. I mean, the guy never took a visit, right? 5-star ascending, never takes a visit after he commits almost a year. And so, for me and my team to be able to work with people, I mean, their family, the Lagways are amazing people. And DJ is just the same. So this has been special. It's been super cool to watch the Gator fan base be super excited about this commercial.
You're giving me goosebumps now, Justin. I think you got me fired up, man. Look, I'm known as this Disney Gator and Sunshine Pumper. This interview is going to take it to a whole nother level. So if you guys, for those that are watching, just be prepared for the next couple of months. It's going to be mayhem because Justin's firing me up here. I mean, I love this whole process of where it's going to. Is it for you guys to stay with them throughout their entire career, or do you? Okay, so
Yeah.
we're falling to the NFL then.
I mean, look, elite talent, marketing and branding, that's what the business is, guys.
Sure.
Like, no disrespect to NFL agents. Like, the business is NIL, marketing endorsements, and helping them navigate, and figure out the right home. But then, I think so many people fall in love with just the collective piece of this. Like, we pride ourselves on like going out there and like, what athlete, athlete, what would be your dream brand? Can we align you with that? And so, yeah, our goal is to be the marketing and endorsements and management and be a part of their entire careers. And honestly, a piece of just understanding that, I mean, look at the landscape. The landscape changes here every 2 days. Okay. So that's why we're positioned as management and marketing, because we want to be a part of their careers forever and just really give them the support and building a team around them. And I think if you're seeing, DJ's a massive brand already. He hasn't even played a snap at Florida.
It's nuts.
And these kids, I'm called kids, they can be entrepreneurs. They can build companies. They can start charities. I mean, if you really think about it, the biggest sports in the United States is not pro sports. It's college sports. I mean, you have fans and people that attended. Like, that's what we're seeing here, is that people realize college sports has always been a big business. It just hasn't, it feels like it wasn't able to really become what we wanted it to become until NIL became legal.
Two-pronged question here, because you said no offense to NFL agents. So you would become that agent, so they wouldn't need one. That's my question. And then second, how how is your connection with the collective in this particular example, the Florida collective, Florida Victorious?
Sure.
Do you work coincide with them? Like, how does that work with other
Sure.
schools and of course Victorious?
Well, it's not that I'm saying not about NFL agents. Just so you know, Derek Jackson is also represents DJ with me, and he's been a part of this team, and he's awesome. He represents Anthony Richardson, so we
Okay,
work on DJ together. What I'm saying is, and Derek understands marketing, and as you can imagine, having Anthony
so it's
Richardson and being,
two roles then.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. But when I say that is the business of this is actually doing branding, marketing and endorsements, building ventures currently, right? It's not negotiating an NFL agent contract. Eventually
Sure.
that time will come. So I'm just kind of touching on that. And then what was the other question you had?
Yeah, you got your relationship with the collectives, Florida Victorious in
Yep.
this particular example. I
Sure.
imagine you're because I know he is connected with the Victorious
Oh
collective as
yeah.
well.
I mean, yeah, great relationship with them.
Okay,
Um, they're easy to work with. They,
great. We love
everyone,
him.
yeah. I mean, for as much as stuff I'll say that's been out there, I mean, Nate and Jose and like all of the people, I mean, Florida, you guys got a great collective. They know what they're doing. They got a strategy. They were great to work with DJ. They're supportive. They feel like this Gatorade win is their win. We're trying to think of other ways that Gatorade can be integrated with the school.
Mm,
And so it's they're never trying to take opportunities off the table. They're there to be supportive and, really leverage the Florida network. But we work hand in hand with them. We were telling them when this was going through, we're coordinated and even down to the football team, Katie Turner and Ben Chase and all those people. Like, it's really a team effort, honestly. And I'll say this, not every school is like Florida, and maybe that's because I'm an alumni, but they really do want the best for all the athletes. And it's not trying to look at it just through a monetary lens.
yeah, absolutely. Again, we work with them very closely. That they're fantastic. We love them. We're able to speak with the players through Florida Victorious. You mentioned to me in texting before. You represent other Gator players
Yeah.
as well, which people probably wouldn't know, which would excite them as well. Talk about that a little bit.
I mean, Shamar James and Tank Hawkins. Shamar James, I mean, talk about guys all heart. I mean, same thing, kind of like TJ wants to lead this team back to victory. I mean, kid from Alabama comes here. I'm so excited to see him get back on the field. What a just an amazing guy too. Such a professional and like super excited and a leader. It's been a really fun ride with him. Tank Hawkins, incoming receiver, he's here now. IMG Blazer,
Oh
super
yeah,
marketable, super fast. Excited for him to get on the field. Again, great guy, easy families to work with. And yeah, I mean, it's just been it's all about for me the fit for us to because we're not in mass quantity. It's like the right fit, and I mean, maybe I'm a little biased. I do like working with Gators here and there. So,
sure.
but they've been great, and I'm excited to see them both on the field.
Now you kind of alluded to it a little bit that more could be coming with the Gatorade connection because that was going to be my other question as well. Is can we expect more of these big time style commercials with the likes of DJ Lagway? And you kind of said that hey, the Victorious is trying to get involved where it could be a bigger connection. Is that is something that is in the works or down the pipeline for Florida?
Well, when I say that, it's just obviously, nothing official has happened with Florida Victorious. All I'm saying is like obviously the relationship with Florida and Gatorade is there, and I think just
Sure.
the NIL era, it makes a lot of sense. I'm saying they were supportive of this. As far as DJ, yes, he is signed with Gatorade for the next couple years, and the family, not even Gatorade, PepsiCo. So
Oh wow.
the family of brands. And so we're excited to grow that relationship. You're going to see some more content with him, and I think it'll be an evolving thing. He's going to be out here for ESPYS week in LA. They have a Gatorade high school player thing that he's going to be out here in Los Angeles, and it really was the decision to just be a part of the Gatorade family. Michael Del Pozo, who's the president of Gatorade, flew out to be on set when we did the shootout here in California. DJ got to spend time with him, and he was just explaining how excited he is to have a Gator and to kind of, I don't know, reinvigorate the relationship with University of Florida.
Hearing that, like it's a hey, this is a couple year deal. he's going to be out in the EPSIs. It's surreal, right? Like just seeing how big he already is, and he hasn't even taken a snap on the Florida football field. And this is also too. I mean, I'm talking sports with you real quick, Justin. I know we've been dabbling up
Mhm.
with the business side of it, but this is where I love Billy Napier and what he's building because the guys that he is bringing in, like the DJ Lagways, the Tanks, the heart of these players excites me of what is to come, and I just want to see this thing unfold. Right, I don't want to just have the hype of the beforehand. I want to see it all the way through. And hearing this, just man, it's gonna get people excited. I'm just telling you that right now.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think, look, on Billy, he's got a strategy and he's executing it. I mean, I think we're going to all have to just see it unfold, but I respect that he isn't going to be, seems like he's not going to be deterred by what outside noise. He's got a plan and he's going to go execute it. And so I'm excited to see it unfold. I agree with you. I think some people have lower expectations than we should. But you know what? I think that's kind of nice for Florida for once. I feel like so many times we have these crazy expectations, which we should have. But I think my vibe is that I think the guys are kind of bonded together. Like, all right, write us off, see what happens, And
Sure.
as a Gator, I like that attitude.
Gators by a million, baby. That's what we say right here. Well, Justin, look, man, I really appreciate you coming on here, speaking about yourself, your company, Network Advisory. Getting to learn more about this has been fantastic. I appreciate you kind of peeling back those onions. I know the fans will appreciate it. Tell them where they can follow you, the Network Advisory, and anything else that you would like to speak about Network before we let you go.
Yeah, sure. Thank you guys for having me. Super excited. And yeah, on Twitter, it's JG Network CEO. On Instagram, jg.network. And then the Network Advisory on all channels. And as always, go Gators. And excited to just kind of be on this journey with you guys.
Absolutely. Well, can we hope to see you or expect to see you at a few games this year, repping the orange and blue?
Absolutely. You will see me for the Miami game. You'll see me a bunch. I mean, um, as I kind of told you guys, like being a Gator, if I hadn't went to school at that time, I don't know if I'd build the relationship and living through Tim and just all of that and what that was. I mean, it's that's the top of the mountain, and I'm excited for us to get back there.
Real quick, can I ask you about that? And I watched in your interview your relationship with Tim Tebow. You spoke to how it kind of got you your first internship. Can you mind? Big, I got Tebow right here hanging out with me. I don't know if you can see him, but can you talk about that a little bit? Because that's just as a fan, I think it's really cool.
Sure. So met Tim when he was a freshman. I was a senior. Met him and his brother. Knew that Tim was going to kind of be Tim. We built a friendship, a relationship, um, and I stayed in Gainesville and had some businesses. I owned a restaurant. I owned an event planning company, and so I was lucky enough to be after I graduated, stay there for 2 years during those era, and built a really good relationship. And so anyway, long story short, I got an internship. After he won the Heisman and Urban left, I moved out to LA, got an opportunity for an internship at a place called Priority Sports NFL and NBA agency. And I'll tell you the funny story. So it's a little late at the time of like they've already picked their interns for the semester or whatever. And so I go in and I interview with this woman, and she's like, "Look, I like you, appreciate you, but everything's full." I tell her I went to Florida. Her eyes get a little bigger. I tell her I know I was close with Tim Tebow. Her eyes get super big because this is at like Tim Mania is going on in Denver. She's like, "I love Tim Tebow," and I'm like, "Well, we're friends. We're like friends. Blah blah blah." She's like, "Look, really nice. Maybe next semester," and I'm bummed. Well, Tim had signed some memorabilia for me that I drove across the country in it. I'll never forget. And I had this really nice helmet. And pardon my French, I said, screw it. So I went back the next day, and I'll never forget it. I went to the office and I put the helmet on the table and said, like, just wanted to thank you for the internship interview. She goes, "You start tomorrow." And so that's how I started. And so I started as an intern at Priority and then helped them sign Chandler Parsons, the basketball player, which was my first start. And then I just naturally gravitated to the marketing side. A year later, I left and started my own sports marketing company, and that was later acquired by Gary Vee and Vayner Sports. And here I am, 6 years later.
Well, shout out to Tim Tebow and your courageous move there for for setting the trail on fire. That's awesome. I love that.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, appreciate you guys. Go
Yes, sir.
Gators always. Let me know if you guys need anything. All right.
Will do, man. Thank you.
Bye bye.